finish.
Terve.
Terve.
Terve. Terve.
You are otso. Sinä, you. Olet. That's the stem, I think. Et, the suffix. Otso is a name.
Kiitos.
Kiitos.
Keidas.
Kiitos.
Kidus.
These could be nonsense words, don't know.
Kiitos.
Kiitos. Let me get this up and running. Thank you. Kiitos.
Tyyne.
Tyyne. One name, I think.
Tyyni.
Tyyni.
Tyni.
Tyni.
Tieni.
Tieni.
Tyyne.
Tyyne. There we go. Hello, I am Tyyne. Hello. Terve. Minä is I. Olen is the I form. I am. Tyyne. Minä olen Tyyne. Hello, terve. I am Otso. Minä olen Otso. Okay, welcome back to Language Institute. I'm your verb ally, here to learn all the languages with you and for you, and to show you and inspire you to be a super learner. So what I want to kind of break down for you, or show by doing, is how to learn about a language without looking at anything other than words and sentences. I'm not looking at any grammars. I might look at the notes here and there, but I don't think I have so far. These first 50 days. It's day 50. And we're starting off with some Finnish. Hindi is also, it's on the bill for today. Yeah, that one. No thanks. Okay. Good luck. Let's just review. It's been weeks.
Yeah.
It's either 3 or 2.
J.
The high vowel, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, much more open mouth for for that vowel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even, to me, it sounds like an even more open mouth position than we have in yeah, which means yes. Yeah. And then yeah.
Yeah.
We call it mid vowel, half open mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's long, so I write a double vowel letter. Finnish writing is really, what's the word I'm looking for? Really straightforward how to pronounce it. One letter, one sound.
Matti.
Matti. There you hear that little bit of silence in the middle of the word.
Matti.
That means we have a double consonant.
Matti. Tervetuloa, yeah.
This middle T sounds a bit long as well.
Tervetuloa, yeah.
Now this is computer generated, so it's not too reliable, but that's how it strikes the ear to me.
Tervetuloa, yeah.
Tervetuloa would be a plural hello, I think. Ye, like yes.
Yeah.
Yay. Welcome, ye. Tervetuloa. Okay, terve versus tervetuloa. What I do consult is a dictionary. Let's do it now. What's the relation, is my question, of terve? What is terve again? Let's hold on to this. Right. By the way, up here in the corner, here in the spotlight, here's our first book that we've published at Lango. Our website is just langoinstitute.com. We've got books, we've got a blog and a podcast, so please check us out. And we're on all the social media. And we're looking, I want to know now, okay, I want to hold on to one thing at a time. Terve, what that is, while tervetuloa means welcome. Tuloa. Tervetuloa. I can just tell from looking at the word how many syllables it's going to be, how many beats if I counted it out. Everything's very regular and predictable. Ter. This R is closing a syllable. Okay, but that's not what we're here for. We want to know that's welcome, and then what's the structure of this? So it could be that these are just words that happen to have some resemblance, but there's no real connection. Always a possibility. The Finnish word terve is an adjective, and it means healthy. Cool. Sound and well. This word sound is nice. We have another word sound referring to audio information transmitted through the air to our ears. Sound, the more familiar word. As an adjective, it's an Old English word. It has a much longer history in English. It's related to German gesund and means healthy. It's really, nowadays, I think, just confined to phrases like sound mind and body. And unsound we have with the negative. I don't think anyone's confused by that. Alright, and this tervetuloa. So I could just look it up directly, but I want to scratch my head a bit. My question now is, what is in this tuloa? How many pieces is it? Are they meaningful? Is this a compound word? Is this something derived by just suffixes or a suffix? What's going on? So sometimes the need to know is so unbearable, I'll just look it up. But let's figure out as much as we can just from looking at it and inspecting other words.
Anna. Terve ja tervetuloa.
Terve ja tervetuloa. Ja and. So, terve, healthy for hello. Ja and tervetuloa, welcome. Excuse me.
Tervetuloa ja onnea.
Tervetuloa, welcome, and thank
Onnea.
Onnea, good luck. Ea oa. Welcome and luck.
Tervetuloa, jee.
Tervetuloa, welcome. Yay is yay. Oops. Should hit the space.
Tervetuloa, jee.
Hello, Levi on Twitch, and hello, my little scratch note. Welcome. This is giving me trouble there. Where'd it go? I saw a button that said chat. How embarrassing. Anyway, hi everyone. I would love to reply, but feel powerless. I'll just speak to you instead. Put that more on my eyesight here. Tervetuloa, welcome. That is what I say to you. Yay, yay. Tervetuloa. Let's see, let me do that. Not the most elegant look. Okay. So we've been reviewing some Finnish. I'm gonna step over to Hindi and then just, I think, alternate mainly between these two languages tonight. But if there's any requests, anything you want to see particularly, just let me know in the chat. My goal here is to go through everything that is being taught here. And these are the ones that I've already started. There's a few others sort of tucked away. I haven't touched the conlangs yet, but I'm happy to. That's constructed ones, artificial languages like Esperanto, Klingon. It's one or two, yeah. Languages are just kind of my thing. That's what I'm all about. I think about them nonstop. I'm just endlessly delighted by language. I never met one that I didn't think was ravishingly beautiful. Table is maize.
Maize.
So, I don't know whether it's connected really to Spanish mesa, but the words are similar enough that they'll serve to remind us of the meanings and just have them pleasantly associated in the mind. Let's look at these others.
Bakshi.
Bakshi. This is a ksha cluster. Let's see. This one that looks like a monkey hanging on a tree. Nice letter shape in the middle of this word, bakshi. We transliterate it with a K and a subscript dot sha for the retroflex. Ksha. Bakshi. But it wasn't really pronounced that way across all of ancient India at all times. There were many other variants too, pronunciations for this cluster letter, Bakshi. But anyway, it stands outside the grid of single consonants that we learned early on.
दूध,
Milk.
maize,
Oh, this Pakshi word comes from a Sanskrit term meaning winged one, I think. Oh my. It's only like this on camera.
वे कुत्ते चलते हैं,
Ve kutte is a phrase. Those dogs, plural. Chalte hain, plural.
हैं,
Final auxiliary there, helping verb. Chalte hain. Pretty bad at languages. Okay, that's cool. Conlanger, welcome. Do you know either Klingon or Esperanto? There's also High Valyrian, which I haven't looked at all. Like I say, I'm open to it. Might have to do High Valyrian. See something for the first time. But first, let's do some Hindi. Ve kutte chalte hain. Those dogs. That's our topic, our subject. Chalte. That means walking, I think, or moving. It's a verb.
चलते,
Walk, go, sail, probably not. Dogs walk. So our helping verb at the end, hain, is plural, shown by that dot marking nasalization. Hain. Singular looks just like it, doesn't have the dot. Hain.
यह लड़की चलती है,
Yah ladki chalti.
है,
Okay, so notice that
यह
yah meaning this does not mark gender.
लड़की,
is a feminine noun meaning girl, this girl. Yah ladki. This girl. And this the letter with the subscript dot shows a weakened D that's now a rhotic sound. A r. I'm not an expert. Listen.
यह लड़की चलती है,
What I think it means is for a D, the retroflex, even the retroflex D, it would be an oral stop. You'd have complete sealing of the vocal apparatus at some point, but this one maybe a slight opening somewhere. This girl ladki chalti, same verb hai. Here's the singular of the helping verb. And if you're new to Hindi and the Sanskrit stuff, right now when we're Russian and Spanish, you got it. If you're new to this Hindi and this Nagari writing system, let's maybe put this sentence under the microscope after I translate it. Chalti hai, she walks, she goes, she sails. I think like repeatedly, not really the moment of speaking. So, the script is called Nagari or Devanagari. And it is what we call an abugida. It's actually historically connected to our alphabet. The main shapes that have the full size allotted to them, those are all consonant letters. And then vowels are shown with various sort of attachments, other things linked to those consonant shapes. Alright, we don't really need to ID it. It's going to be pretty clear what language this is. And that final stick shape, we read left to right. The final stick is just like a full stop, period. So, let's do sort of transliteration or transcription. Yaha means this. Larda. For this, I'm going to use capital D with a dot. So it really denotes a rda, short syllable, but I don't hear a vowel in there. I think it's a two-syllable word. I'm going to put it like this. Lardki. What I'm sort of vacillating between is like an there, but takes up a lot of space. Lardki chalti. Chal. Same thing here. It could be chalati. That would be what the script strictly taken shows us, but this vowel just regularly drops out in Hindi. Chalti. And then hai is how we write this. It's really a single vowel, but we use two letters for it. Hai. Yah ladki chalti hai. So that's the sounds in the letters there, carried across to our writing system. Now let's do a word for word. This ladki is a girl. It's got a feminine suffix on there. The verb here, chalti, agrees with that word. It's also marked as feminine. And it's like move, I'll just say go for short. And it's 3SF. It's my short way of saying third singular and feminine subject marking. And the hai is just is, basically. Alright, so, what do we... There's no repeated shapes here except the L. Ladki starts with the L. Chalti has it as its second consonant letter. It's kind of a heart shape there, too. Let me zoom in a bit. So again, script is called Nagari. And the language is, of course, Hindi. Spell it out. यह लड़की चलती है.
उसका घोड़ा मेज पर है.
उसका घोड़ा, there's that weakened D.
घोड़ा
मेज
है
पर है. So postposition.
पर.
Para. So like upara, I think. In Sanskrit. Uski ghoda. Is this the horse word?
घोड़ा.
Uski,
उसका.
his or her? No, there.
उसका.
His horse. Mez par hai. Yikes. His, her horse. Either be the same form, it seems. And ghoda is marked masculine. Uska, they're the agreement possessive word too, masculine. Long a suffix. Her horse. So mez par is, like I said, postpositional phrase. It's like the word on, except it comes after its noun. Mez is table. Mez par, on the table, is. Oh yeah. In Hindi, the verb's always the last at the end of the sentence. The inflected verb. Could be more than one word. Like with the chalti hai. Both parts really are verbal in meaning and their function. But here it's just hai. It can be one word. So it is in English too. We can have long verb phrases.
सड़क.
Verby things. Sarak.
सड़क. सड़क. सड़क.
The road. Don't need a word for the when we're translating into Hindi. Sometimes have to add it to English.
कुत्ता दौड़ता है.
Kutta dorta hai. Is this the running verb?
दौड़ता.
Kutta, masculine, singular by the a suffix. The dog. Dorta hai is running or runs.
मैं सड़क पर चलता हूँ.
Sarak par chalta hu. Sarak par. Another postpositional phrase, on the road. I on the road, chalta hu. Here's the I form. I walk on the road. Okay. Yah ladki, feminine. And our verb is not going to be chalte, chalta, but chalti. So, many languages, your agreement, it's kind of hard to see at first when you're learning it because it's not the same shape. But here, it's the very same marker on both the noun itself, ladki, and the verb. So that's handy.
वो सड़क पर दौड़ती है.
And any adjectives too. Vah sarak par dorti hai. Feminine suffix. That sarak par. So we don't have a word that means, oh, we do actually. Ambiguity arises. Is this vah a subject pronoun, she, or is it the determiner for vah sarak, that road? Let's do it that way. On that road, she walks. On that road, word for word, it's pointing word, that one over there. Sarak, road, upon, but dordati hai, she walks. Runs, yeah. Excuse me. Dordati, the weekend.
एक मेज.
Ek mez.
एक मेज.
You hear the same sound. This is what we call the absolute form for the vowel letter. Just a when there's no consonant in the onset of the syllable. Mez.
मेज.
You see the straight line that connects
Ek.
all the letters. The two words, also
Mez.
word boundaries. That's really handy.
मेज. मेज.
The part below the line and the line itself are for the consonant M, and the A sound is just indicated by that antenna. Ek mez means one table, table, we can say.
वो सड़क पर दौड़ती है. वो सड़क पर दौड़ती है.
It's a little v. We don't hear an H coda. It's not vaha. I suppose it could be, but here we have a weakened form of that.
वो सड़क पर दौड़ती है.
Par dorti. So kind of like the name Dorothy. Yellow brick road, she's running. I don't know if she really ran much on the road, but it's what we call a mnemonic device. It's a little string of things to help me remember the meaning associated with that form. Okay, now I need to get to my Lexi Logos Hindi keyboard. Devanagari. So mostly going to be a matter of just this automatically converting. Let's hear it again.
वो सड़क पर दौड़ती है
V-A. I just write V-A-H here. If I did VH, what would that be? Yeah, that's a cluster. That's something different. Sarak par. S-A. Let's put capital D. Apostrophe now. How do I get... oh, probably capital R. Sarak. There it is. Ka. Para. Not pra. You have to type the A key to give a B. That's a syllable, consonant, vowel. B. Para. Para. So there's really, it's kind of paradoxical. The in the final syllable, theoretically, vaha, saraka, para, is dictated by the logic of the script. So the is written, but also the sign for it is nothing, no modification. So it is not written. It is both affirmatively and not written. Sarak para. So she runs, right?
वो सड़क पर दौड़ती है
D. I think it's the more open one. Doll, right?
वो सड़क पर दौड़ती है
Do, but doll. So it's A-U. And now capital R. A. D. T-I-I. H-A-I. वह सड़क पर दौड़ती है. Runs on the road. She here on the road. Road on phrase. Runs.
वो दौड़ता नहीं चलता है
Okay. वह दौड़ता नहीं. He is not a runner. चलता है. He is a walker. He does not run. He walks. Or ruin.
मैं सड़क पर चलता हूँ
सड़क पर. Same phrase. चलता हूँ. I walk. I walk home. Just walk on the road, not home. On the road. सड़क पर.
वो सड़क पर दौड़ती है
सड़क पर. The dot and the J in the word table. Oh, good question. Yeah. Your basic J consonant. Hello. Consonant letter in the grid palatal series. Ja cha ja ja nya. That's the basic letter shape. If we add a dot below that, where do we have it here? Okay, we have these dotted characters. Qa, kha. Ra, I suppose, a gamma. Z is what it shows. Depalatalizing, if you want to associate a single meaning with that symbol. So, mez is this word for table. Just that on its own, I would put M-E-Z. Mez. That's the structure of the word. And to get that, so this is associated, I think, especially with Persian loanwords into Hindi. Z is very frequent in Persian.
वो सड़क पर दौड़ती है
Okay, what are we doing? We are translating this. I was just looking at that for the letter, for the Z. And from the verb form dorti, I know it's female subject. She walks, runs. Let's get this one right this time. Dorti hai, she runs sarak par, on the road. Okay, we said Russian. Add to the list. Are you for Russian? Dokoni. And here on this same site are. Let's hit the next letter. Let's hit an S. And Russian is right above that. Okay. Yeah, I need to review some of this. Phrases, probably.
Привет, как дела?
Привет.
Привет, как дела?
Doing, verb form. How doing what?
Как
How doing.
дела?
Привет, как дела?
Привет, как дела?
Дела. Dela. Accent on the last syllable here.
Привет, как дела?
Привет, как дела? Oh, hi, how are you? Like contrapoints. Привет, как дела? Hello, how are you? Good morning, Anna. Добрый день, Anna. Доброе утро for morning, not the afternoon. Okay. Доброе. Доброе утро. Утро. Доброе is what the spelling syllable by syllable will be. Доброе. So I type letter B. This one looks like a backward 6 is a stop B consonant. The one that looks more like a V, and if I type V, I get it. That's V, a fricative. So many of the letters in Cyrillic are similar to ours, but they'll mislead you. And you've got this nice alphabetical order table right below. There's so many, I have to zoom out quite a bit. And Old Russian characters too, so happy for those. One of my favorite things is to see obsolete letters. Good morning, Dobroye utro. More utra. Oh, not Y, but it looks like a Y. Here's another one, but it's an U sound. Pure high back vowel with rounded lips. Utro. Anna. And the H looking one is an N.
Все хорошо.
Всё хорошо. Okay, cool. Всё хорошо.
Все хорошо.
Всё хорошо.
Все хорошо.
Всё хорошо. Thanks to you.
Хорошо.
No, it means everything. Всё.
Хорошо.
Everything.
Все
Всё
хорошо.
хорошо. It's written with all O letters, but any unstressed or unaccented O will become an A in Russian. Всё.
Все хорошо.
Хорошо. Всё хорошо. Well, it looks like
Всё
an E with the two
хорошо.
dots. Yo. Those two sounds together in a single character. Is everything okay? Всё. I think it'll just accept. I don't. It looks like a C. Type S. Всё. Всё. Ho. I type X. O. Ro. And the sh down here. Всё хорошо. Are you okay? Everything okay? Yeah, it accepts the unmodified E letter just fine, so why not do that? I think that's how it's generally written too. Don't really know from experience, but that's what I've heard. They're right next to each other here, these plain E, undotted E. This is ye, this is yo, and then this E, transliterated with the falling accent, is eh, without the ye preceding. Всё хорошо.
Все хорошо.
Хорошо. Everything is okay. How are you doing? Как дела? I think that дела verb is feminine marked, speaking to a female person. Как дела? Good morning. Доброе утро. Добро. D-O-B-R-O-E. Утро. Утро. And let's do Spanish too. Let's add that. Ooh. It's still pretty early days here in this Spanish course. Been a while since we looked at it.
Lo siento mucho.
Siento mucho. I feel it much. I am very sorry. That's a more literal translation. Lo, the direct object. Pronoun here. It. Siento, the o suffix tells me present tense. Subject I. Lo siento, I feel it mucho, to a great degree.
Yo escribo con mi maestro.
Escribo, same suffix there. Con mi maestro. I write with my teacher. Very same word order as English here.
Yo estudio español.
Yo estudio español. I study Spanish. Estudio. Subject I.
Yo tengo un examen importante.
Yo tengo un examen importante. Okay, here different word order. Noun first, examen importante, followed by the adjective. Important exam. And note that there's no voiced z sound in Spanish. This is examen.
Yo leo con mi maestro.
Leo, same suffix. I read. Con mi maestro, with my teacher. So just as the Finnish system as we saw, it was very simple to map sound to letter, so it is for Spanish too. A few little wrinkles here and there.
Yo comprendo.
Yo comprendo. Comprendo. Present tense. First singular subject. I understand.
Yo no soy estudiante.
Yo no soy estudiante.
Yo no soy estudiante.
Estudiante. Occurs to me, we have ye. Well, yo not really is a diphthong. Anyway, ye is a diphthong, so it's a sequence of
Estudiante.
sounds, but really as a single unit in the structure of the language. But
Estudiante.
ya is not such a diphthong. It's two syllables. Estudiante, I think.
Yo no soy estudiante.
Estudian. Not Japanese. 5 syllables total. The N is not an extra syllable. Yo no soy.
Soy. No.
Here meaning not. It can also mean no. I am not a student. I don't study Spanish. No estudio. I could put the word yo there, but it's not needed. No estudio español. España is down here. Handle. I don't read a lot. It's going to be basically the same word order. A negating word, our verb read, and the subject is I. No leo. Mucho, a lot, as an object. I wonder if it's really an object, though. I think it's more adverb. What do you think, Levi? Is the mucho in yo leo mucho an object noun phrase? It's a single adjective. Or is it an adverb? It's an adverbial of some kind. Now let's do for contrast Catalan, which is taught through standard Spanish. So we'll get to hear all of that. You know what? A kind of fun question. If you put it that way, what is the dot, or what does the dot do? What action does it have on the letter? It's going to be a little different in each case. With the k, it backs it. K is made further back in the throat. With k, the aspirate, kh, k, the dot turns it into a spirant, and it fricative, that is. Spirantizes would be a nice old-fashioned verb for that process. K becoming ch. So kind of Celtic mutation type change, that lenition. Here it's backing, here it is spirantizing, turning it into a fricative. G, same thing, spirantized with the dot. J to z, it's dentalizing or depalatalizing. R to r, it's, I'm not really sure, don't have personal experience of what constitutes this sound, but my feeling is that it's incompletely closed D, so a slight opening of the gesture. R, same thing, aspirated, and P, modified with the dot to F, is substituting a nearby fricative, similar to K. So whatever that is, 4 different actions. Una racha de 50. What's 50 días. Jessica tiene una racha. Yes, I will extend congratulations. Oh my. Oh, well, we're just starting a new. Yeah. What do you call it? Week-long period. Comida is our topic here in Catalan. ¿Cuál de estos es el bocadillo? Well, to answer that, I'd like to know what a bocadillo is. Mouthful, a little mouthful of sandwich. How cool.
La sopa. LLU.
Don't quite trust that. I think something went wrong there with the computer-generated sound.
L'entrepà.
Oh, cool. Between bread. Compound word, one of my favoriteest things in the world.
La sopa. LLU.
I'd like to know about that.
L'entrepà.
Might be nasalized. Is that what the falling accent indicates? Reportar. El audio no se entiende muy bien, no se reproduce. Una de las, no. No se entiende. Okay, it doesn't sound good. I think would be good. Not that it's hard to hear. La cebolla.
L'entrepà.
Just now noticing the similarity to Zwiebel, the German word for onion.
El menú. L'entrepà. La ceba.
La ceba.
Una sopa, si us plau.
Si us plau. Una sopa.
Una sopa, si us plau.
Una sopa, si us plau. What is it in Spanish? Sopa. Also.
Sopa.
S'il vous plaît, si us plau, we say please. Ought to have learned that by now. Por favor. Any beginner could best me in Spanish. ¿Cuál de estos es el huevo?
El sopar.
El sopar, silent R after A.
L'entrepà. LLU.
No es bueno. Reportar no se entiende muy bien. ¿Cuál de estos es el menú?
La sopa. LLU. La dona prepara el sopar.
La dona prepara el sopar.
La dona prepara el sopar.
El sopar. This
Sopar.
O seems to raise to an U.
La dona prepara el sopar.
Sopar. And there's also a tonal upstep there. That's the accented syllable here. Compare that with dona, which is a true mid-vowel here. O is the accented syllable. And then
Dona. La dona prepara el sopar.
Is it becoming a tone language? La dona, la mujer. Prepara, same exact word. What's the dinner? El dinero.
Sopar.
La cena.
El nen menja una patata.
Menja una patata. So, as you might have noticed, Levi, a lot of lexical similarity with French, distinct from Castilian Spanish.
El nen menja una patata.
Then the boy, el niño. So, not N, but ñ. El niño menja. So, like French mange, eats, rather than come. Una patata. That is it patata?
Patata.
Una papa. Una patata.
El sopar és un entrepà.
Sopa es un entrepà. Dinner is a sandwich. La cena es, without any accent mark, un entrepà, un sandwich. What do we call it?
Entrepà.
Un bocadillo. A little mouthful. Bocadillo. Crocodillo for your mouth. Menú.
La sopa.
La sopa.
El menú. El menú.
El reportaje. You started to taught me something already. Well, thank you, sir or ma'am. Hidden gecko. Any other requests? Well, it's going to do Italian. Donna to donna. This is true. Yeah, French doesn't use done, except I feel like it has it somewhere. Pretty hip crowd that has gathered. That's cool. So, as I said, anything you want to see, I'm happy to do with you. Oh, I did suggest one myself, namely Valerian. I'm going to hear and see it for the first time, I think. What little Game of Thrones I watched was many years ago. I don't really recall Valerian being it. I don't know who spoke it. Where you are. Okay. Guarani, yo hablo inglés. Okay, you know what? I'm going to take a quick little breather and give you some of, let's see, let's choose a good one. Some Chinese here. Be right back. Please don't go nowhere. Oh, did I? No. I just left the sound off. Sorry. Window. Cangjie. I'll read aloud as I type to get the characters. What it does is it converts your QWERTY keyboard into a character selector. We live here. Is this the live stream? Looks good. Alright. Oh, good. Okay, I want to go from English. Okay, let me just switch languages. Easier said than done. From here, I'll switch to Hi Valerian. Oh, hi Valerian. Thanks for joining. Any requests, any languages at all you'd like to see that Duolingo has? I'm happy to go through with you. Okay, now I'm going to say add, and there we go. 490,000 learners. So conlang, for those who don't know, you probably all know, means it's a constructed language. It's distinct from a natural language that just kind of happens out in the real world. Conlang. We can call this kind of word a portmanteau. It's like an illicit fusion of two meaningful words. Instead of being the full two nouns stuck together, which you'd call a compound, we sort of smush them. We chop pieces off. The first syllable of constructed. We also change the sound. We say con and not conlang. Conlang. That's what we're going to do. So I have spent a bit of time on Klingon as well as the big one, Esperanto. Like I say, first time on this one. How do I go to there? Okay. Basics. Very much.
Nyuha munya.
Nyuha munya. Love it already.
Nyuha. Munya.
My
Munya.
munya.
Nyuha munya.
Come on. Nyuha munya. Valir. H valir for high. Nyuha munya.
Nyuha munya. Abrakirineissa.
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 Is this what the city dwellers spoke? It sounds like a city language.
Abrakirineissa. Abra.
Game of Thrones. Abra, woman. Nice, okay.
Kirine.
Kirine. Nice long trill.
Abrakirineissa.
Issa is, okay. Won't be too hard.
Abrakirineissa. Kirine.
Be glad, pleased. So it could be she is a happy woman with just no subject pronoun, or a woman is happy, or the woman is happy. But we note the verb final placement there. Sentence final for the verb. See how consistent we are with this. The woman, I'll just say the woman is happy, glad. Abrakirine.
Abrakirineissa.
The A is marked as long, but the E here is long but is not so marked.
Valakirineissa.
Valakirineissa is happy.
Vala.
Vala, the man. Okay, a bit like Hueros from Indo-European. The man is happy. Oh, nice. Just blow it up. No. Nope. Oh, there we go. Found the magic button. Okay, yeah. Excited for this. Yeah, tonight the plan was. Yeah, sorry, Levi. I'm just now seeing that. Only have much headspace for. Yeah, I've got. So let me give you a little hashtag here. If you input this on YouTube, it's got, I think, my full catalog, all the languages. And like I said, today's day 50, so there's 50 to 60 sessions that I've streamed. And the languages are all tagged. You can search them by hashtag too. If you're interested in anything particular. I really love other writing systems too, particularly Chinese, which we could do next, I suppose. Open to all that. Thing or two in German coming right up. Vala Kirine. So happy to do it.
Nyuha kepa kirineissa.
You kepa my
Kepa.
kepa. Wow. Levi, do you remember the Lamkang way to say my father? Kirine isa. Nyuha kepa.
Nyuha kepa kirineissa.
Kirine isa. My father is glad. Glad.
Tauba kirineissa.
Who's happy now?
Kirine. Tauba.
Tauba. Nailed it. Tauba, the boy, is happy. Feels right is what I mean. I'm not praising myself, but whoever created this language, it's a good-looking word for boy, in my opinion. Very boyish word. Happy girl. So it's going to be Kirina, Kirine, Rinya. Okay, and some variation in the end of the word. Going to have some grammatical value there. The happy girl, Kirine. And I forgot it already. What's this? Rinya. Kirine Rinya. Okay. Or Rinya Kirine. Pa in it. Has pa? My father is kpa. Suffix K. Sorry. Very much not a suffix. Prefix K for my. One singular and father. Kpa. And that's in language Lamkang. Nope, not that. Lamkang from Northeast India. Nope. A boy, a girl. Tauba. How about nothing. Rinya. All right, German it is. Yeah, I was thinking a little while ago. I've neglected the German course. Lived in Germany for 10 years, ages 10 to 20. Went to German schools. So, learned a thing or two about it there. And I decided I was going to just start everything from the very beginning to just record as much as possible from it. Alright, so tell me what your German level is, and I will gear it to your needs, or just ask me
Ja,
simple
es tut
questions.
mir leid.
Ja, es tut mir leid. Ja, obviously, yes. Now, the word for word here, it does me pain, more or less. Light, not marked as a noun, it'd be capitalized. So, what is the status of this light? That's an interesting question. It doesn't vary, not leide or anything. Es tut mir leid. It does, so it means yes, I am sorry. We have quite a different construction here with I as the subject in English. Es, it is the subject in German. Does to me. Mir, dative, right? To me.
In Ordnung.
Means all right, everything in order.
Es tut mir leid.
Es tut mir leid. And note that the final
Mir
D
tut.
in tut and the final D in light, they're the same sound. It's just a T, usually unreleased. Tut mir leid. We call it devoicing, and it happens to all word final and also syllable final consonants in German. You can only get a voiceless one.
Genau.
Unless it's, a nasal or something, a nasal liquid. Genau means exactly. And come to think of it, what is this root in the word genau? So g is a very common prefix in German. No single meaning attached to it, is my feeling. What's the root there? No. Oh, like near and nigh and so on. Narrow, close. Now was. Now in Old English. Knögr. Okay. Other words are there too, which I won't mention. Genau.
Nein, Entschuldigung.
And that's Wiktionary, if you're not familiar with that. A marvelous resource. All the standard languages are well represented. First checkpoint. Yeah, I should have skipped ahead in German. I'll just do what I can here with the easy early on stuff. Nein, Entschuldigung. So there's always lots of structure to see and to talk about. German is famous for its intimidatingly long words. Here's one. It's a single noun. This thing. Nein, of course, is no. And Entschuldigung. Excuse me, roughly, is how we'll translate it. But it's a noun. Anything that ends in ung, it's going to be a noun. It's going to be the feminine gender. Schuld is what we're called the root of it, the smallest meaningful part at the core. Gotta segment everything. Gotta use our S word as our word sword. Every word either is simple, in which case it's a root, which is wonderful, or it's complex, which is also wonderful. And it's good to just sort of always ask yourself what type of any given word is. Schuld is the smallest
Entschuldigung.
that I recognize. Schuld meaning guilt, a noun. Schuldig. Okay, the S belongs to it too. Well, let me just redo it. And let me zoom in. Ent is a prefix, meaning something like a way out of. Schuld.
Entschuldigung.
The root idea here is out of guilt. Entschuld. That doesn't exist, to my knowledge, as a compound. It makes no sense. Those are the two roots put together, like prepositional. I think it's connected to Greek anti and Latin ante.
Entschuldigung.
And should. Don't know if they quite work together, but schuldig. Okay, again, the SCH, 3 letters, is a
Entschuldigung.
single sound, sh in German. Schuldig. We've added the suffix ig. Let's talk about, or make clear here the structure. DE for Deutsch. Use a hyphen to show where one meaningful part ends and another one begins. We call it a morpheme boundary. And should, that one's our root, the second one. Ig is an adjective deriving suffix. Schuldig means guilty. In fact, guilty has the very same structure. The stem first and a deriving suffix, and this E of English represents the same original, proto-language form reflected here in ich. There's lots of ways to say it in German, depending on your region. Guilty. Very same suffix historically. Guilty.
Entschuldigung.
And the is another suffix deriving a noun. So you go from noun here, schuld. Leave off the prefix for a second, but our core of it is a noun. Then we have something that turns it into an adjective, this ich. And the next piece turns that into a noun. We could call that renouning it. Entschuldigung. So the removal of guilt is the
Genau.
Genau, exactly. No, unfortunately. Leider nicht. Nein, leider seems less idiomatic to me, meaning less natural, just to my ear. Unfortunately, whatever natural means, kind of a meaningless term. It's more like the spoken language in actual use, I guess. What would you say, Levi? Renominalization. Yep. So did I make it clear what I mean by that? This part, the root of our word Entschuldigung, the part schuld is a noun. At some stage, the ent attaches, and it doesn't. Well, it's prepositional basically. This first part, so I'll leave it out of account here. Unfortunately, leider nein. So it's more exactly word for word with the English. Always a good thing. Let's do another. Get a nice round.
Keine Ahnung. Ahnung.
Use that suffix. What did we just mention about it? Gives you a noun, and that noun is feminine, and the suffix e on keine is an agreement marker for feminine here. Keine Ahnung, and I take it that this is accusative singular, because it's like an abbreviated sentence. We're leaving off ich habe keine Ahnung. I have no idea.
Alles klar.
Rather than a nominative. I don't take that as a subject. No. Alles klar, everything clear, no verb, like it's an Arabic sentence or something. So it means everything, I don't know, great, all clear. For me, all's clear. Don't think so. Something else went wrong.
Nein, keine Ahnung.
All right. So German also has a really nice phonetic writing system where the correspondence between letter and sound is really close. Nein. Nein does not exist. Nein, keine Ahnung, right?
Nein, keine Ahnung.
Whenever you hear that I, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be written EI. Keine. That final E, which would be a silent letter in English, is sounded in German always. Keine Ahnung. No idea.
Mir geht's gut, danke.
It's worth pointing out the difference. Nein is like a sentence unto itself. Kein is a determiner. It needs something else to be understood with it. Mir geht's gut, danke. Okay, here's a nice difference with English. Unto me, it is going. No subject mentioned here.
Geht's.
The agreement geht. Oh, sorry, that is the subject. Geht's is a contraction of geht es. Goes it. To me goes it well.
Gut.
No
Gut.
ending there. We take it as an adverb and say well. Danke. I thank you. So I'm well, thanks.
Guten Tag, wie geht's?
Here, accusative, it's what I wish you a good day. Guten Tag, not guter Tag. Good day. Wie geht's? How goes it? Is word for word. This is a fusion, really. Geht's. Two distinct words and distinct syllables, now fused into one. How is it? How are you is probably the best English rendering.
Mir geht's gut, danke. Mir geht's gut, danke.
Mir geht's gut, danke. I am well. To me, it is going well. Thank you. Mir geht's gut, danke. Danke is a verb. It's only ever that single word. Well, you can have long sentences with it, of course, but it stands for Ich danke dir ihn. All right, in Ordnung. No need to shout. So, but we do need to capitalize nouns. In Ordnung. Now, instead of a verb for see you tomorrow, it's just going to be until tomorrow. Bis morgen. Now, this bis, I don't know an English cognate unless it's related to by. How are you? I'm going to say how goes it. Wie geht es is always contracted. Never greet someone with Wie geht es. How is it going? Also sounds odd in English. Let's go back to Catalan because we can get the double portion. Two languages that are not English. Closely related ones. Yeah, it always shows up back at the bottom of the list. Catalan. So please give me your requests, what languages you'd like to see and you're most interested in. I'll try to go back through all of them. You can get Wie geht es, Wie geht es Ihnen. Yes, very true, Levi. Geht es Ihnen, Wie geht's Ihnen? Wie geht es? Comida.
L'aeroport.
Okay, l'aeru, that O there in the middle,
L'aeroport.
sounds raised to U, raised meaning the jaw position.
L'aeroport.
Port, that one is tonic, that's where the accent is. Port is a mid-vowel.
L'illa.
L'illa,
El menjar.
mangiar, the AR sound drops. La comida. And it's an infinitive of that verb of eating. It's the eating, just like in German. And other languages too, I suppose. Yeah. Verdura, vegetables.
La cervesa.
Cerveza, written S, it's a voiced one. Unlike Spanish, a voiced fricative is here.
El menjar.
El menjar, the eating.
La verdura.
Verdura. Feminine noun is what the la tells us.
Jo cuino el menjar.
Yo cuino el menjar.
Jo cuino el menjar.
I cook the food. Yo, I think it here wants the pronoun. Yo cocino. Not cocino, cocino. Getting confused, right?
Cuino.
Cocino. El menjar. El menjar.
Jo cuino el menjar.
El menjar. Es la comida. La cerveza. Ironically, Spanish writes a Z, which to us is a voiced one, but says sa voicelessly, while
La cervesa.
cerveza, while Catalan writes the voiceless S, but sounds it as a voiced one.
La verdura.
La verdura.
El menjar.
El manjar.
La cervesa.
La cerveza.
Jo cuino un arròs.
Yo cuino un arroz. So, is it the same long double R?
Jo cuino un arròs.
Arroz. Can't really tell. Different from a single R letter. Yo cocino un arroz. A dish of rice, I suppose. We don't say a rice in English.
El berenar és un àpat.
Berenar.
berenar,
Merienda. ¿Qué es merienda? Alright, cool. You got it. Merienda.
berenar,
Merienda. ¿Qué es merienda? It's a noun. Snack. Nunchin. Good old nunchin. I'll have 2 nunchins over here, please. What a delightful word. El berenar. Alright.
berenar,
Merienda. Merienda. The fact that it's that diphthong there leads me to suspect that's where the accent is. Es un apat.
àpat,
Es una comida. Cool story. The snack is food. Is a food. Un hombre vegetariano come pescado? Okay, not the come that means how or like what, but eats. Eating fish. A vegetarian man eating fish. Un hombre vegetariano. Okay. So, the following one. What do I mean by following one? The a vowel with a acute accent over it corresponds to the final an elsewhere, in at least 2 words. Can't think of the other right now. I wish we could hear it there, but no. Okay. We're putting this into Catalan. Come, menja. Pescado. Peixe. I think it's going to be pesh. Not a diphthong, if I recall correctly. With an X. X for sh. I think is or used to be true in Portuguese too. And I think Spanish too. The X was originally a sh sound. It shifted further back over the history of Spanish to a h. Es vegetariano, no come carne. Okay. S has the accent on the E. Ve, I think. Tari, accented A. Okay, no menja carne. Carne. That's cool. So, the request for conlangs, which I'm happy to oblige. I continue with Valyrian a minute. Maybe go on to would you prefer Klingon or Esperanto? Let me know while I'm here.
Tauba iksa.
Boy.
Iksa.
Iksa. Okay. Let's write this down. In my Valyrian. Iksa. Length mark. Meaning you are. Contrasting with Issa. And was that one long too? I don't recall. Maybe meaning he, she is, I think. Which already is a very interesting structure. Tauba Iksa, you are a boy.
Abra liris.
Woman. Liris.
Liris.
Love it. Is smiling. I'm going to use an underscore for the length mark. Liris. X is smiling. The woman smiles. A woman, who knows? Smiles is smiling. Liris. So is that simple? You got it. Or is there a structure there?
Azantis kirineisa.
Azantis. Is that a name?
Azantis.
Cool. Great word.
Azantis.
Azantis.
Kirineisa.
Sounds like it's an U for the letter Y. That Y is what it was in ancient Greek at one point. An U sound, which is with the tongue forward in the mouth and lips rounded. Azanthus.
Azanthus chirinesa.
Chirinesa. The swordsman is happy, is glad. The knight. Azanthus.
Tauba nages.
Tauba nages. Boy.
Tauba nages.
Okay, cool. Nages.
Nages.
Alright. Sweating. And what does the X mean, you might be wondering? Perhaps you don't care. But that's my shorthand for a third-person subject. And I'm just trying to record a little bit more of the context in which I encountered this word than just the bare verbal meaning. I just want to convey something about the sort of syntactic environment of this verb that I'm writing. Nages. So here in this case it was a third-person singular subject. The boy sweats, is sweating.
Nyuha kepa vaidas.
Father, Nyuha my
Nyuha.
Vidas. My dad. Vidas. Third person subject again.
Vaidas.
So, the Greek verb of singing in like Homeric Greek, aedo, very similar in shape to this. And it was older, awedo, I think. Vidas esk sings. So, a similar one that I can use to remember this one, if all goes well. Awedain, awedo in ancient Greek. Oh, the omega, I sing. The w dropped out historically, but was there at the time of the composition of certain lines, which the metrics tell us. Homeric is what I mean by that. Greek. Okay. Nyuha, my dad. Nyuha kepa.
Nyuha kepa vaidas.
Sings. The good night. Good night. Azanthus was night. Is singing va edas. And good süß. That's cool. A bit like the German word for sweet. Süß. Kind of with the, and it's turned around. With the fricatives reversed. Süß Azanthus. And I think you could have the opposite word order. Va edas. No Z there. Süß, let's hold on to that. It's good. Probably a class of adjectives, I guess, rather than a verb. We'll see. I am a father. Okay, we're gonna, so it's going to be a form of to be. The I form. Iksan. How cool. So, just superficially, I'd want to say sa is the root, meaning be. We have maybe a circumfix here, combination prefix suffix versus prefixes elsewhere. I am Iksan and father kepa. Iksan, putting the verb last. Digging it. All right, Esperanto created, what, 1870s, 1880s? Does anybody know? By a guy named Zamenhof. As a sort of means of achieving better understanding among peoples of different backgrounds based on lots of different languages of Europe. Esperanto. The word means hope. It wasn't part of his original proposal, I think, to call it that, but that was the name people applied to it, and it stuck. So many of the roots are Latin, such as that one. How do I get to where? Need to zoom out. Okay, I speak the English, and I want the Esperanto. I think I'll do a placement test. No need to really do that.
Yes, mi laboras en Londono.
Alright, yes. From English. Mi laboras. So I guess we could, what do you think, Levi? I call this an absolutive case. I think it's used for object as well as subject. Mi laboras. No inflection for person, but the as ending tells us that it's present. I am sleeping. Mi laboras. No, not sleeping. Laboras. Clearly from the Latin word work. En Londono. Londono.
Yes, mi laboras en Londono.
Londono.
La hundo dormas.
Okay, now what makes it a bit odd from a Germanic point of view and a Romance background is the mismatch la and hundo. But what it's telling us in Esperanto, the o tells us that it's a noun. It tells us part of speech, and la is anything else that agrees with or is in a phrase with a noun. So an article in this case, la, the, hundo, dog, and adjectives too end in a. The dog dormas, again the present tense ending, is sleeping. Esperanto is a good language. Esperanto.
Esperanto.
Lingvo.
We'll put that last. That's our topic. Just Esperanto. Estas.
Estas.
Latin est, meaning is. Present tense ending as. Estas. And then good language. We don't worry about the Good, obviously, is going to be bona from these.
Bona.
Not feminine, but telling us that it's an adjective. Lingvo for
Lingvo.
the head noun here. Estas bona lingvo.
Kiom da mangoj vi aĉetas?
Mangoj. Vi aĉetas. Oi. The o, again, noun, and the y, plural. Mangoj. How many? Kiom da of the. Vi aĉetas. Vi you. Acheter is French for to buy. Achetas. How many of the mangoes? Oh, it's not telling us. This is the placement test. Okay. How many mangoes? Vi achetas are you buying? A single word verb here. And again, present tense. As. When does dad come? Cuando? Kiam? Pacho? Dad. I don't remember that. Onklino. Venas.
Venas.
That's the most fatherly looking one of the bunch, I guess.
Lia kuzo volas fariĝi kuiristo.
Kuiristo. Chef. Well, from the choice of words, Kuzo, his cousin. Volas wants. Farigi is an infinitive. I guess to become, like faire. Fare. To make, literally. To become kuiristo, a chef. Can't be any of these other things. That is impossible. Estas. Tio, that?
Tio.
Estas.
Impossible. So it's going to be the a ending adjective. Ebla. Ebla looks like it's taken from English. Able sound. In a village, many houses have gardens. In a village. En villaggio.
En.
Many houses. Multai.
Multai.
Because it's determiner. And the y plural. Domoi, houses. Noun. Plural. Have. Havas. Present tense.
Havas.
Giardenoin. This one is 3 suffixes, all noun. Y, plural, na, object form, accusative. So that I wouldn't call it absolute, unless it's a different system for the pronouns.
Ni eniris la bestoĝardenon por vidi la strigojn.
Ni eniris?
Ni eniris la bestoĝardenon por vidi la strigojn.
Besta ĝardenon besto.
Ni eniris la bestoĝardenon por vidi la strigojn.
Por vidi
Vidi.
la strigojn.
Ni eniris la bestoĝardenon por vidi la strigojn.
Strigojn, I don't have a memory of. Vidi is to see, I think. And iris looks like it's into go. Go into the something garden. Best maybe backyard or something. Por vidi, to see the somethings. Enter the zoo, besto, like beast, the beast garden, love it. Por vidi, to see the owls, strigoi. Gentlemen and ladies, welcome to our organization. Signorinoi, masculine, with no gender suffix, of course. Okay, kai is from Greek for and. Signorinoi. This I-N there, it's not an infix, it's a suffix, I would say. Derivational one. Onto the same noun stem, and then oi because it's a plural noun. Signorinoi, ladies, welcome, bonvenon.
Bonvenon.
Nia, our.
Nia.
Organizo. Love it. With its sharp teeth, the dog ate the meat. With kun, right? Per, using. Okay.
Per.
Its sharp teeth. Oy. La. Akraid. Okay. CI. Don't know whether to use that if it's the its part. Per CI akrai dentoi. The dog ate the meat. La. Hundo.
Hundo.
Mangis. Past suffix. Ate the meat. La viandon.
Viandon.
La viandon. Did you forget to pack your toothbrush? Chu for a yes/no question. V for guesses. So English prefix, German root, vergessen, vergessis. To pack. Paki. Tisk tisk. Your toothbrush. Let's see. Vian. Object form. Dentobroson. Brosse is the French for brush. Oh my goodness. Feisty. I talk to the computer.
Ondoj ĉe la marbordo povas esti danĝeraj. Ondoj ĉe la marbordo povas esti danĝeraj.
Povas, present can. SDB, infinitive. Dangerai, dangerous. Adjective, plural. Marbordo. Ondoi makes me think of waves. So that's the French onde for wave, from Latin unda. C'è. C'è la marbordo. Ondoi c'è. At the is probably c'è la. Oh, c'è maybe like French she, at the house of. Marbordo. Oh, mar, sea, board. There we go. At the coast. Waves at the coast also makes good sense. Oh, where else would the waves be? On the sea. Whatever. Esti povas. Can be dangerous. Too much of us is dangerous.
Neniam batalu kontraŭ mi.
Neniam. So the form tells us it's a non-noun. It's adjective or determiner. Never. Batalu. Okay, a new ending in any case. Batalu, I'm thinking the verb means fight. And u could be an imperative. Contrau, against me. Never fight against me. Excellent advice.
Post longa batalo ŝi mortis.
Post, after. Longa, adjective. A long. Batalo, battle. She. Mortis, the past ending. She died. Mort. That's the French noun of death. La mort, spelled with a T. Taken as a verb here. Mortis. When the diplomat speaks in Hungarian, the interpreter interprets. Kiam for when. La. Interpretisto. Gotta be this because it's a noun. The diplomat. Oh, wait. The diplomat. Diplomato. Speaks in Hungarian. Parolas, present.
Parola. En.
La. Hungara. With no noun. Just the adjective with the article to form that noun phrase. En la Hungara. Perfectly natural. But worth noting, there's no nouns. We know that very directly from the endings here. The interpreter, la interpretisto, does his thing. As ending. Interpretas. I met him. It's going to be an is ending. In a past congress, gathering of Esperantists. Me. Rencontis. So rencontre would be the model, I think, French. Is past. En for in. Don't worry about the but past. Pasintan. Pasinta. I tend toward the an, but with a preposition present, like here, en, there's no case marking on the adjective or noun. En pasinta congreso.
Congreso.
Okay. Mi rencontis lin. That looks very Irish, doesn't it? Lin. As if it meant with him. Rencontis lin. We will have to leave at 8 in the evening. Ni. Will have to. It's going to be a new tense, future. Devos. Debere, Latin for have to. Dev as in devoir in French. Debere gives all of those verbs. We'll have to leave. It's going to be an infinitive, ending in E. Foriri. Wonderful. An English prefix, and the French infinitive to go ir. And the Esperanto infinitive marker. At 8. Okay. Oka, is that 8? I'm just going to do la oka in the evening, vespere. So an adverb form here. Yela oka vespere. Let me hold on to that. Yela oka vespere. At 8 p.m.
La teamo perdis sian trejniston. La teamo perdis sian trejniston.
Sian trejniston. Okay. La teamo, that's a phrase. O really is a nice indicator that noun phrase ends here. La teamo, I'm guessing the team. Perdis, lose, lost. Past. Sian, it's the object form. I'm guessing it's the possessive stem. Their trainiston, their trainer, coach. Team lost its Sian. Okay. Sian trainiston. The atmosphere. La enhavu. En conduco. Electon. Yikes. Enhavo, I guess. For the atmosphere. Nothing seems like a really great match. Depends. Dependas. Present. De la homoi.
Homoi.
Not the object form. Just plural noun. La etoso. Etoso, what's that? Dependas de la homoi. La etoso, the atmosphere. We don't really need the la. It's not going to be anything else. Etoso. I don't think it's ever lan. It's not object marked, right? Atmosphere. Alright. Let me leave you with my colleague just a second. I'm very busy. 我 HQI. Alright, let's read. It's the one drawback to it. Sometimes kind of forgets what it is. HQI. 我 Hun is HOAV. Mang PYV. 对不起 TGDI. Oh, MF. Qi AO. RU? No, let's try SU. Oh, wrong one. It's GORU. There's Qi. 对不起. Okay, that has a few. One complicated, what do you call it? Traditional character. So click replace, click simplify. And now we're going to paste that here. I am busy. Sorry.
不在那儿
No, it's over there. 管
管
院
院
监
监手洗管你的姐姐在饭馆
你的姐姐在饭馆 Your sister, your big sister 在饭馆 is at the restaurant
这儿没有洗手间。
这儿没有洗手间这儿 YYMR is going to be HXU. Yeah, thank you for that, Leo. No, HXHU.
Hello.
这儿没有 ENE.
Oh. Helps to be in
You
the
always
right
predict. I'm so sorry. I left you on the wrong tab. Would have been much more enlightening if. Alright, be more mindful in the future. Etoso, ethos. You see snowflakes during winter. Oni, I guess.
Oni.
Vidas, present. Snowflakes is going to be an
Vidas.
plural. So it's going to end in oin. Negeroin. From the French neige for snow. It's my guess during. Not vintro. That's the noun. Dum, just like Latin. Vintro. Oh, really?
Chu.
Aliflanque. Chu nome? Chu contrawe. No idea. Ho chu. Okay. Oh, interesting. Chu. Also signaling yes, no. And so then it would be true that, I guess. That's kind of cool. For a yes, no question marker. The earlier, the better. Yikes. Well, since we have two U syllables here, that's probably the. That's the. U. Frue. U. Bone.
Bone.
You pli frue, des pli bone. That's cool. You pli, like plus is closest, the French model. Frue, like German früh. Des, like German desto, would be the the subsequent one. Pli, the more. Bone. So bon, the stem, and then the adverbial marker, like in Latin. Bene, with the vowel change. This one without the vowel change.
Al kiu flughaveno la aviadilo flugas?
Let me just spell out what I'm just alluding to here. In Latin, you had the adjective bonus, bona, bonum, so on, gender marked. But the adverb that corresponded to it was not bone, but bene. Like that. And the ancestral form of that was a dua cluster. Duenos. Duenos, duene. And again, the hyphen is for the morpheme boundary. I'm using the @ sign like Spanish o a. It's either gender with its marker right there in that place. So you can put a morpheme boundary there too. But anyway, back to Esperanto.
Al kiu flughaveno la aviadilo flugas?
La aviadilo.
Al kiu flughaveno la aviadilo flugas?
Al looks like a fusion, just like Spanish al. At which kiu flughaveno. This German one. Japanese. Cool, you got it. Flughaveno, Flughafen in German. La aviadilo, probably the airplane. Avion, from the bird root of Latin. Flugas, the German noun, is the verb stem here.
Al kiu flughaveno la aviadilo flugas? Kiu flughaveno estas la plej proksima?
Lots of different languages of Europe well represented here. Kiu flughaveno estas la plej proksima. So not pli.
Kiu flughaveno estas la plej proksima?
Is the most close. Play versus pli. This is interesting. I've never seen this.
Kiu flughaveno estas la plej proksima?
What's going on there? All right. Japanese is coming up. We're going to need 2 keyboards for that. Okay, this one on Lexi Logos where, yeah, you can get your hiragana, katakana as specialized tabs, but I recommend the one that's both. You just write hi, lowercase for hiragana, uppercase for katakana. And those are the 2 phonetic Japanese writing systems, the syllabaries. Something completely nothing can live up to. That's great. And then for getting Chinese characters, this is a wonderful system here. Character retrieval and lookup method, Kanji. Canji is the name of the input system. 30 others. Cool. So we'll follow that up by and by. And now to Japanese. So 3 writing systems. I use these 2 keyboards here, Lexi Logos and the Kanji input are my resources. Let me just, since it's free and easy to find, here you go. If you want to follow along, I want to encourage you to look up your own Chinese characters. It's lots of fun. You see them sort of being built up as you enter them, which is so cool. That's one great resource. And then for the phonetic syllabaries, here's a good resource for that. So the hardest one of all modern standard languages, the hardest one to learn to read and write is Japanese. If you can do this, no other language is really going to frighten you. There's one advantage to spending time with Japanese. So you got to learn about 100 of the phonetic ones. And this one, the nice thing about this input system is it breaks down the thousands of kanji into just 25 distinct pieces, classes of what to call them, components. We'll see as we go here.
Ashita.
Shita. This is a nice one because what's really cool about it is it doesn't break down into pieces. Ashita is a single word of Japanese, happens to be written with 2 kanji, but there's no point. There's a boundary between the characters, but there's no such boundary within the word itself. It means tomorrow.
忙しい。
Ogashi. So a good rule of thumb, something to take note of, first of all, when you're studying Japanese is what is a native Japanese word, what is loaned from Chinese, a loan word, a word taken from the Chinese language, and what is more recent stuff, so European languages like English. which class a piece of the language belongs to has important consequences for the forms it takes. If you have a case like this, it's a kanji first, and then you have a couple phonetic characters after it. You're looking at a native Japanese word. Isogashi means be busy, so they're just taking the Chinese character that means busy, and they show the ending that's on it.
忙しい。
It's a really efficient and elegant writing system, or rather, system of systems.
忙しい。忙しい。
Here we see the whole word just written phonetically. And each of those signs, that's, face, shapes, dimensions. Isogashi is one beat of the language. Isogashi is a word of 5 beats.
日曜日は忙しいです。
Nichiobi is an instructive written word, as we see the same character.
日曜日は
Beginning and end of this word pronounced, and we hear it pronounced 2 different ways. Nichi for the first, yobi, that B for the second.
日曜日は忙しいです。
No subject is named, but I'm going to say that it's I am busy, or I will be busy on Sunday. But in the actual sentence itself, the topic is, as for Sunday, nichiobi wa. Someone unnamed, some entity is busy. Isogashi desu. Desu showing politeness.
明日は何をしますか
Ashita wa. As for tomorrow, nani o. Object marker here. Doing what? Who's doing what? What are you doing tomorrow? English word order is actually a bit odd. We put the question word first, and that sort of causes ripples throughout the rest of the sentence. Probably hard for a non-native English user to acquire. What are you doing? We've got shimasu ka, that's non-present. Oh, tomorrow, I forgot. Okay. Isogashi. Be more careful here. This is the word for busy.
忙しい。
One clue is you've got these last 2 syllables spelled out. They match the end there. If you were in doubt, look for that.
土曜日に働きます。
No topic in this one, just all comment. Doyobi ni on Saturday. The verb at the end of the sentence, just like in Hindi, just like apparently in Valyrian.
働きます。
To work. I work on Saturday. Or Saturdays, there's no difference. Saturday.
金曜日にパーティーをします。
Alright, so, if you're new to Japanese, or even if you're not, you might sometimes feel frustration at these particles and uncertain about how and when to use them. One nice aspect to them is that they really map out your sentence and label the different noun participants really clearly as to what they're doing. So, when you're coming at a whole sentence, trying to decode it, look to the end first at your verb and get everything you can from it. Shimasu is the most common verb, meaning to do. It's marked polite with that mas suffix, and u shows that it's non-past affirmative. Someone is doing, will do something. O. This written syllable, the phonetic one, is really useful because it's only used for the purpose of marking a direct object. It's not used to write any other word. Party is an English one. That's the object. Do a party. And the rest of the sentence before that, kinyobi ni, with the final particle there, meaning at, on. Not Sunday, Friday. I'm having a party. Ashita is that.
明日
Pseudo compound. Kinyobi.
金曜日。
Kino, meaning yesterday.
昨日。
Ashita, tomorrow.
明日
I think kino, too, you would have to say is a single word that happens to be written with multiple kanji, but does not break down into ki and no, for example. Doyobi.
土曜日。
Isogashi.
忙しい。忙しいですか
Subject is unnamed, but since it's a question, I'll say you. Are you busy? Oh, and worth noting that isogashi, that single word, it's kind of like a verb, kind of like an adjective. It's the verby flavor of adjective the Japanese has. It's got two classes, one more verbal and one more nouny. Okay, matching.
明
Ashita,
日、
Kiyobi
金曜日、
is the gold weekday. Doyobi, Saturday is the earth day.
土曜日、
Hataraki,
働き、
work. It's the infinitive form. The verb we saw, hatarakimasu. Isogashi,
忙しい、
a verbal adjective.
金曜日、
Mean busy. Kinyobi means Friday. The gold planet day.
明日は友達とパーティーをします。
Now comes the fun part. Gotta retrieve kanji as well as phonetic writing.
明日は友達とパーティーをします。
Ashita wa tomorrow. Tomodachi to with friends. And those words are written with kanji. Ashita, okay. It's about as simple and elegant as the writing system gets. Letter A, already I have to refresh. A writes the sun component, and B writes the moon, and those two are the first one here in ashita. And the second component is just the sun by itself. So, again, that's A, B, A. Gives us the whole compound for ashita.
明日は友達とパーティーをします。
Ashita wa will be written phonetically there, that topic marker. Tomodachi is written with two kanji. Tomo, K, and E. So, if you get this tab open, just type these letters, the ones that show up in yellow here, into your keyboard, and you can retrieve these Chinese characters or kanji to look them up and learn more about them. It's also just kind of fun to play with. Tomo, first one there, and then dachi. This is not a Chinese compound. We're going to look for this by looking it up on its own. It's not going to be predicted is what I'm saying. Y for that enclosure. G is the first one inside. T. Q. It's already predicted there. If I just hit 4 now, it's down here in this field. This is the one I want. Hit 4. Tomodachi. Those are the kanji I need. And I just plop those in here and add what's missing.
明日は友達とパーティーをします。
Wa written ha. Tomodachi to. With friends. Party. This is an English word written in katakana. Length. I wish I had a key for the length marker. I don't know what it would be. T. We're going to write T-H-I. Maybe not. How do I get? Alright, I'm just going to open the one that's specialized for katakana. T. No. Goodness. Little help. I don't think it's going to accept it unless I get the exact kanji here. This is troublesome. I thought it was available here. Oh, okay. Now I just get this E here, the small one. T is what I need to show that it's a T syllable and not chi.
明日は友達とパーティーをします。
Oshimasu. So, sorry that's taking so long. But as you can see, it's a bit intricate to get all the pieces to assemble a Japanese written sentence. And that's okay. It's about the hunt.
明日は友達とパーティーをします。
Ashita wa, as for tomorrow, tomodachi to, friends with, got postpositions, one way to look at it. Party o, object marking, party, shimasu, someone does.
土曜日、
Yobi, Earth Planet Day is Saturday. What I mean by Earth Planet Day is I'm sort of breaking down the components, the kanji, of this written word, so that I can associate it with these meanings whenever I see these written forms in other words.
毎日、忙しいです。
Mainichi is every day. Isogashi desu. I am busy. Says to put an equals after it to get the small ones. Much obliged, Levi, I think. Let's take a look at that. So for party, P-A, long. How do I get the length mark? If you can find that, Levi. So put an equals after it. So it's T-E-I, and now equals will make it small. Yep, there it is indeed. And then a length. Cool. Excellent. Feels a bit roundabout now, but I'm sure everyone can get used to that.
金曜日にパーティーをしました。
In many word processors, you type an H to get that combination. T-H-I and D-H-I for T and D syllables.
金曜日にパーティーをしました。をしました。
Related verb, but here ta, that suffix tells us past tense. So it on some earlier kinyobi Friday. On Friday, there's no subject named. I'm going to say I. Party o shimashita. I did a party, I had a party. Cool to tell someone about it after the fact. Nice brag.
土曜日は忙しいです。
土曜日は忙しいです。Verbal adjective there. 忙しい, I'm busy on Saturday. Or Saturdays, either.
明日、日本に行きます。
明日、日本に行きます。Tomorrow, 明日。日本に to Japan 行きます non-past I'm going to Japan
明日は友達とパーティーをします。
明日は友達とパーティーをします I'm having a party with friends tomorrow
明日は何をしますか？
明日は As for tomorrow, 何をしますか? What are you doing? Tomorrow, what will you do? Yoo-hoo! That's awesome. So the whole word party again, and words like it, P-A, no, capitals, because we want katakana, underscore. I am sad. It doesn't like my underscore, party, but that part would be T-E-I equals, not plus. So as you see, it shrinks a little. It's kind of cool. What that shows is we don't want te-i as two beats of equal length, which would be te, but instead we want to show that the e vowel quality is attaching the t consonant quality, plain ta rather than the cha, which would naturally occur there. No luck with the underscore in my case, for whatever reason. My underscore is not welcome here. Let's go ahead and round this one out.
水曜日。
Anybody watching? What language you would like to see most? And we'll do that next. 水曜日.
水曜日。
The water planet day is Wednesday.
木曜日は忙しいです。
木曜日は
忙しい。
For topic, as for Thursday, 忙しいです。Thursday, on Thursday. I'm busy.
水曜日はレストランに行きます。
水曜日にレストランに行きます。We need a kanji. Basically, it's going to be for verbs and nouns. It's a good rule of thumb when to use them.
水曜日はレストランに行きます。
水曜日, the water planet day. E is water. Yo has the sun. A, S, M, G. B is just the A by itself. So you'll be ni, and then ikimasu, H-O. M-M-N is iku to write that verb. This kanji. Okay.
水曜日はレストランに行きます。
What topic? 水曜日はレス. It's a long word other than Chinese. とらん. So katakana. に行きます. I go to a restaurant on Wednesday.
月曜日は忙しいです。
As for Monday, 忙しいです. I'm busy. Or Mondays.
火曜日。
You'll be the fire planet day, Tuesday. That one's an easy one to associate the god with the planet. Tu, the Germanic war god, with Mars, Mardi, and so on. And Mars is there in Fire Planet because it's red. Wow.
あさっては何をしますか?
Satte. This is a 3-character one for a single word that doesn't break down into meaningful parts.
あさっては何をしますか?
Satte wa day after tomorrow. Nani o shimasu ka? What are you doing? The day after a 3-word phrase in English, a single word in Japanese. Asatte with a long T. Mokuyobi.
木曜日、
Doyobi.
土曜日、
Kayobi.
火曜日、
Tsuyobi.
月曜日、
Shigoto.
仕事、月曜日、
Tsuyobi. Tuesday. So close. Kayobi.
火曜日、
Mukyobi.
木曜日、
Getsuyobi. Monday.
月曜日、
Benkyou. Study.
勉強、
Tomodachi. Friend.
友達。火曜日は忙しいです。
Kayobi wa isogashii desu. Tuesday. I'm busy.
木曜日は忙しいですか?
Mukyobi wa isogashii desu ka? Are you busy Thursday? And again, there's no word that corresponds to you. Since it's a question and it's the only person the other person could knowledgeably answer about, it's implied that way.
火曜日は勉強します。
Kayobi wa benkyou shimasu. As for Kayobi, Tuesday, Mars. On Tuesday, benkyou shimasu. I'm studying. I will study. I study. Yeah, that would still work. Should be accepted.
あさって、
Actually, a forward phrase. The day after tomorrow.
木曜日、
You will be Thursday.
水曜日と金曜日に留学生が来ました。
Alright. Remember that our nouns in Japanese sentences are nice and clearly labeled for what they're doing, what their business is. And what I recommend for reading and decoding is looking at the verb first. And we can
来ました?
conveniently work backwards too. That often gives us a pretty good English sentence. Kimashita, somebody came.
留学生が
Ga marks the subject. Exchange students came. Next chunk, moving leftward. Kiyobi ni on Friday. To means and. Wednesday, suyubi. So, on Wednesday and Friday, conjoined. So the little particles there that we just went through, those ones that are always written phonetically after nouns, they work and do different types of things. The to isn't really on the same level as like a ni, because this ni is operating over both of these. What the to does is just say this noun phrase that I'm in is incomplete. More is coming with it. That's its function here. So Wednesday and Friday, ryugakusei ga, the exchange student, we say for short, could also be plural. Kimashita, came.
水曜日はレストランに行きます。
Suyobi wa restaurant ni ikimasu. On Wednesday, restaurant ni ikimasu. I will go to ni, at the end of that one, restaurant. Or the restaurant. I will to, okay, I do need to put a verb in there. That should not be accepted.
あさって勉強します。
Asate again, the day after tomorrow. Benkyou shimasu. I will study.
月曜日は忙しいですか?
Suyobi wa isogashii desu ka? Busy. And the way to remember this one is real easy. Moon. For
月曜日
Moon is also the meaning of the mun in Monday. Moon day, Monday. Are you busy? On Monday.
月曜日、
火曜日は勉強します。
I will study 勉強する。火曜日は。So topic is Tuesday. We would say on Tuesday.
水曜日はレストランに行きます。
水曜日は as for Wednesday レストランに行きます。I will go to restaurant on Wednesday. And a good mnemonic for that shortcut.
水曜日。
Just use the W, water, connecting Wednesday, and also wetness of water with wetness spelled in Wednesday. A bit more fun. Okay, well, I think I'll just keep going. Make this the longest stream so far. Let's do an overview over this input system. So let's get the basic ones here. I'll just hit each key, and it's almost always going to be 1 for the basic kanji, basic Chinese characters. C, gold, D1, E1, F. So this is a good thing to do to get all the basic shapes. I, J, K. Here it's 2 actually. It's the basic one. L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. I put the link for this one in the chat there. The Changjie input. If you want to be able to retrieve and work with Chinese characters on your own, this is a really fun way to look them up. Okay, the mouth there at the end is R, S, 1, T, 1, U, V, 1, W, X. We don't really need, but we do need to teach what it is. Oh my goodness. What is that? X, and then Y. Z is only used for punctuation, so we don't need to worry about it. Alright. So, no, we don't want to start at the end and do them. It makes more sense to do them from the beginning. They're sort of grouped by, how to put it? There's 3 major sections. The first one is called philosophical. It also corresponds to the planets that we learned. My mnemonic for it is Sunday, to remind you of sun and day is the meaning of, and you use the letter A to input it. So I'm going to use the capital letter for the key. Okay, blue moon is a good one for the B. Month or moon is what it means. C, my mnemonic is cold hard. Cash, and it means gold. And each of these is going to have a few variant shapes attached with it too, and like I said, they're enough to retrieve and decompose all Chinese characters. This one is the tree, so think of deforestation, and the forest is written with DDD and then DD. That's a compound that means forest. Just with varying numbers of trees. So that gives you a little flavor for how this input system works. Deforestation. It's going from 3 trees down to 2. The word is sanlin in Chinese. Or another good mnemonic is woody. Here's my watery. Water is the meaning of that kanji. Fiery, F, and G is grounded, the ground. Okay, here it's no H in bamboo, and that's a play on the fact that the Japanese no phonetic sign is one of the variants of this bamboo group in bamboo, and the meaning of this kanji, this Chinese character, is bamboo. Here my mnemonic is dot the I, because that dot in the top right corner is the distinctive piece that's always there in this variant. What was the mnemonic for 10 being J? J is the 10th letter. It's also the, so the 10th in this system, and it means the kanji, that Chinese character, means 10. This one means big, colossus, or colossal is a more common word. This one is mid-L for middle. This is my 1 meter dash. It means 1, and it's written with M as in meter. This is the bendy bow. It's got a lot of bendy shapes. That's the characteristic thing of it. Oman. O means man, human, person. P as in pure, of heart. Heart is the meaning. Heart, mind, the seat of emotion. Q in hand, like we're playing pool. Letter Q for hand. And this one is oral, as in mouth. Letter O. Oh, it's letter R. Wrong one. R needs to be capital. Okay. Sitting figure here. This one is the letter T, and it means 20. It's also the 20th letter. I like to use underhill for this. It means hill or mountain, and U for under. Double V, V for woman. Here my mnemonic is W, wheat, and it means a field. Doesn't mean wheat field, but that lets us put the, put the W there. X is the difficult set. Nan is the word for difficult. And it unites a certain group of characters that are difficult to decompose. And this one is like the Japanese sign for to, and it's letter Y, so I remember it as a toy. So these are the 25 basic components for this input. Let's do a lesson of Chinese while we're here. ZH 中文 And again, taking requests. This word 仓颉 to an English speaker might look like kanji. Yeah, that helps you remember. Don't get them confused, though, if you want to break it down, Levi. My trusted assistant. So because this looks up Chinese characters, I'm going to use this same one that I just used for Japanese. And then I'm going to convert as needed with a little switch on the bottom. Restaurant.
单坐坐文
Written language, basically.
英
Ying used phonetically to write English in England. One.
文
Depicted the old form of this one. So to get this one, Y. That's the basic shape there, that number 1. And then it's a form of the K set to write. So this is a single written word, and this input system breaks it down into those two pieces. So to retrieve it, you just type in YK, and there it pops up. And what you can do on Wiktionary, for many of the basic character set, it will show you ancient forms of it. Those are really cool, because they were much more distinctive then than they are now. How does that look on the stream? Maybe I'll put this over here. Bit of a mess there at that size. So you scroll down, you get some basic information on where you can find this character in various systems, what's derived from it. Then it goes language by language. Under the Chinese heading, historical forms of the character. And what it's said to depict is a human figure standing with a tattooed chest. So it means the written marks on the body can mean, this one word can mean stripes also, and it's used tianwen to mean astronomy, like the lines drawn out by the planets as they move across the sky. One. So basically refers to written marks and ornamentation, and therefore writing in general. So let me get that. Maybe we can just have one. Yeah, that's an old form of this one, which now looks like this. 4 simple strokes. And so these are all basic ones here. Once you know how to decompose these and look them up in this system, or once you've learned their readings, you can, we'll talk about that soon, about phonetic input. That's also fun.
菜
For vegetable, a plant to be consumed. The bit on top is for the grass radical. Menu.
菜单
菜单
英文
上网，
菜单
单
单
English is
英文菜单
单
现金，
现金. As it happens, numbers 1 and 2 have the same tone pattern. Listen for that. It's falling tone on the first syllable and then high level on the second.
菜单
菜单 and then
现金，
现 falling 金现金.
菜单
现金，
Different tone pattern here.
英文请坐
请坐 Please sit. 英 Let's just listen.
等
Of course, there's a romanization, the pinyin system, which we have to learn for Chinese, but let's just let it strike our ears. Don't worry about how to spell it just yet. Just hear it for the sound.
美英菜等美英菜
We want ying.
英
And we're matching cai.
菜
So C is a t sound, like the Z in pizza, t with extra air coming out. 坐.
坐
That Z is basically the same action, but without the puff of air. 坐 Z. 错 with a C. And there's a really lovely chart for the initial consonants that I will share with you. You can, since Chinese Mandarin is now written with this pinyin system, we use the English letters to write it in a standard way. But the ABC order really doesn't make sense for Chinese. A much better thing to get an overview of the Chinese consonant system. Bo, po, mo, fo, de, te, ne. Skip a spot. Le, ge, ke, he. Those are simple stops, fricatives, and a liquid. And then the rest is affricates, complex ones. Z, and some fricatives. Qi, qi, xi, zhi. Alright. I'm using a single spell. Alright, it's just going to be what it is. Chi, shi, they no longer line up the way I would like. Z, s, s. This is all the initial consonants. Things that start with Y, E, U, or the U with 2 dots over it, or W and a U. Those have what we call a 0 initial. I'll just work my way backward here. These we call, or what these consonants are, z, s, s, is they're dental. They're made with the tongue tip at the teeth. These guys have the lovely title of retroflex that refers to the tongue shape. Tongue tip is curled back. Ji, qi, xi. Tongue tip is at the palate. We call these palatal. Ge, ke, he. The term is velar, earlier called gutturals. De, te, ne, le. These are also dental, and they're stops. That is where so that's the top half of the chart. These are all stop, well, on the left. These are our basic stop sounds where the air is completely, in fact, that's not correct. That's how we line them up. That makes that better. Cool. B, p, d, t, and g, k. There's complete closure of the air passage there. And these guys are labials, made with the lips. So these are the sensible groupings of initial consonants. And another great thing about this order is that first column is all plain stops without the strong burst. The second is all aspirates. P, p, k, chi, chi, ci. So if you rehearse that order, if you can memorize this chart, it'll help you keep all these different sounds distinct. They get quite different from their English values in this second half. And so that's one way to slice up the keyboard to look up Chinese, and this system is another. A, B, C is basic characters here. And I don't know why I didn't put it earlier, but here's the name of this system. Nice and big, C-A-N-G, Cang Jie, J-I-E. 文
文
单
单音
Thank you, sir or ma'am. Come and see us again. I'll do what I can. Good. All right. I personally don't really enjoy that recursive thing, so let me not subject you to it anymore.
菜
文
文
菜
菜英
单
单
做
做
你们有英文菜单吗？
你们有英文菜单
妈，
And here too, even though Chinese is quite different in structure from Japanese, it's good to just, when you're decoding these for the first time, when you have it written in front of you, go ahead and work your way through it backwards in order to build up the phrases into meaningful segments. The ma marks a yes/no question. We're going to leave it aside. So we read up the rest from right to left. 菜单, we got to look for compounds and familiar phrases. Right? It can be really easy to feel overwhelmed by just a long string of these really difficult Chinese characters. They're so unfamiliar to us. So to learn it well, you just got to break it down into manageable bite-sized chunks. Okay, ma. 菜单 menu. 英文 English. These are two nouns. It's not different. They're not different participants in the action of the sentence, though. This is a compound noun. English language menu. Then we have 有, means to have or of a thing to exist. 你们 you plural. So it's do you have? Remember, it's a yes/no question. No need to shout. 英文 an English 菜单 menu. Yes or no?
请坐
请坐 please sit. Okay, this is the graphic input. Let's go ahead and learn this one. 请 meaning to request, has the speech radical YR, QMB for the right side, and 坐 OOG, two persons and the ground shape, right? So what this whole mess was about what was naming and defining the basic components, or just giving you some way to remember what they are. Okay, here we saw YR. Y is that this shape. Here it's rotated. Or not. R is the mouth one at the bottom. Q is the hand. It's that basic configuration. M is just the dash, and then B like the moon shape on the bottom here. This shape in the bottom right of this character. And then OOG is a little easier to grasp. Letter O as in Oman for man here. Man, human, person. That's the repeated figure in this one, so we type it twice. OO, and then G for this ground shape. Letter G, right? Let's build it up again. O, that's the basic one. OO gives that repeated, or as two distinct characters. This would be two syllables. 人, and number one here, 从. But then when we type G, it gives us this. This also has those same components when we break it down. But we want number two. 请坐. So that's the graphic way to look it up. Another nice thing that we have is phonetic input. Here, type Pinyin is the name of the system, and then put pinyin.put.com. Copy that, paste here. This is one I used for years and years before I learned that other one. So here we would just, once we've learned the romanization system, 请坐. For these, it's good to note this set. We want the aspirate that is palatal. Q-I-N-G for 请, and then 坐, Z-U-O. And it recognizes that as a collocation. It's this set here, 3. So these are all going to be pronounced with those syllables, probably different tones. This is the first tone, ching. And I don't know this, zuo, this looks like Cantonese, a Cantonese character to me. Ching zuo would be that way, and then let's hit this nice simplify button. That's what we input, but not on Twitch.
你们想坐在哪里？
你们想坐在哪里？
里
Li is the last meaningful unit there. It means inside, the inside of a place. So
里
哪里
里哪
the question word, which place? Literally what inside? Inside what? 哪里? This 在 is a location, a locative verb. Verb telling us location. In what place? 坐
坐
sit in what place? 想坐在哪里? Want to sit in what place? So instead of this what place, this two-word phrase in English, we can just say where. It's the very same expression in Chinese. 哪里 or 哪儿. 想坐, where do you, plural, want to sit? Do you have an English menu? We're going to keep the basic subject, verb, object, word order. We're going to say in Chinese, you have English menu, and then a little yes no question marker at the end. And let's do it phonetically here. 你们, and we just need to refresh. Sometimes forgets what it is and what it's doing. 你们 N-I-M-E-N 有英文菜单. Number C is 次嘛. That's the first one. There's lots of mas. The great thing about phonetic input is you've got to learn the sound of the character anyway. You're already learning this aspect of it. So it's a convenient way to retrieve things. But if you're just looking for a single character, some, such as SHI, just retrieve hundreds and hundreds of different words. But it's good to have quicker ways to find these things. That's what the graphic input is better for. I'll go back to that now. Do you have an English menu? We already got 你们有英文菜单吗? Please take a look at the menu. 请看 to look at HQBU. 菜看一下 MMY. This sort of softens a request. Look one time, roughly. Give this a look. 看一下菜单. 菜 is, I just picture the character in my mind. T, and then break it down. B, D are the 3 parts. This third one. Dan is predicted, number 6, but it's a fun one to, right, this one, we don't have to learn any of the variant shapes. 4 components, it's RRWJ. This character right here, let me zoom in. We're talking about this last one, that's all nice right angles. On top we have double R, double mouth. Then it's this field shape, so RRW. On the last bit on the bottom, J for the cross shape. To get that one on its own, not predicted, RRWJ. Oh, the fun part is actually watching it be assembled. Okay, from the beginning, R, R, W, and it's already predicted there. Oh, but not that. We're going to simplify. 请看一下菜单. All right, let's return to Hindi for a bit.
आँख आँख
I don't hear the R being sounded.
आँख
Maybe he's just coloring the vowel. I wonder what word that occurs in. Chair. Kursi.
Kursi. Hathi.
Hathi comes from a Sanskrit name meaning the handed one. It's that same possessive suffix as in pakshi, meaning bird, the winged one. Hathi, the handed one. Elephant.
बिल्ली
Billi. For cat.
Kursi.
Kursi.
अर्ज अर्ज
Ars.
अर्ज
So in the Nagari writing system, the ah vowel sound there in that last part is inherent in what's written, usually silent. But in a cluster it may pop up.
तू खड़ा है.
After a cluster, I should say. In a cluster makes no sense.
तू खड़ा है.
Tu,
तू
you.
खड़ा.
Now, khada, male form. You are an eater. You eat. Okay, khada. What am I thinking? Cod, right? It's the eating word.
तू खड़ा है.
Tu khada hai. Standing. What kardna will be the infinitive, right? Card. We'll find out more about where this comes from. Stand. Looks nothing like the Sanskrit verb of standing. Kardaka, bolt, post. Kadati, to be firm. Yeah, okay, cool. Kadati, huh. Kara. And okay, let's look at the Urdu spelling here, if you're still there, Levi. So, it's that lenited the retroflex. Weakened, so a not quite closed D consonant with the tongue tip curled. Karda, karda. And in the Arabic-derived Urdu writing, an initial K, H, is this wavy shape which loops. Then it's the R with the superscript emphatic T for karda, retroflex is what it's showing, and then a long vowel. Oh, look, and it's the same shape in Nagari for a long A. A straight line. Karda. To stand. Cool. A new one for me. Yeah.
खड़ा.
मैं बैठा हूँ
मैं
बैठा
बैठा हूँ. I am
मैं बैठा हूँ
बैठा हूँ.
बैठा
Sitting. Baita. I am sitting. Also intrigues me. Okay, let's input this.
बैठा
Baita. To get it, we're going to type. Let's go to Devanagari keyboard. It's that one spelled with the diphthong, B-A-I. Be, more open. Ta. The retroflex, aspirate, capital T-H, long A. It's going to be Bertna, I suppose, for the infinitive. Berta, Bertna, which... Okay, how cool. Hindi verb set. What's that? Sauraseni Prakrit. Uva Virta. Past participle of Uva Visadi. Plus na. Upavishati. To approach. To sit.
बैठा
That's pretty cool. Okay, let's get this Hindi.
बैठा
Still got it in on my clipboard. Yeah. Nagari. Sitting. Masculine form. 1 second. Let me leave you with my associated.
这儿没有洗手间。
E-H-G-U. Shou is just Q. Jian, A-N-A. And we're going to simplify. 传简.
这儿没有洗手间。
老师在那儿。
师在哪儿？在那儿 over there. The teacher is there. H in the Urdu font looks a lot different than one in Arabic. Yeah. Let's look at the Arabic form. Not transliteration. I want real Arabic. And let's zoom in. So the plain H, not the emphatic one. Right, that's the isolation form. Let's do aha, where we see it in the middle. Okay, but ah's not a good one to put in front because it doesn't connect with what follows. Let's do the name, Maha. That's this medial H where it has something before it, that looping shape. In, oh yeah, it was that last page. Right, beta. Before that, Kari. There it was, yeah. Kara, the aspirate. So this loop shape here, that one. This segment, how to describe it? We've got the K, is that first, that angled bit. Yeah, why not? So this is how to write Kara in Arabic script. And it's right to left. KH. We're talking about this Nastali style H with the basic Arabic H seen here in the middle. And again, this first one is H on its own. Oh, if we do that, yeah. If I just type HHH, we'll see all the shapes. So initial form like this always involves a loop. This one. Here's the medial form and the final. And then the isolate we need. These are all the letter H. This is actually a good way to get any shape. T, 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 and then isolation T. Let's do S, S, S. That one didn't change, but this one does. So these are all the seen letter. There's the initial, combining medial form and the final, and the absolute form. All right.
मैं
Hindi. I wondered what we were doing.
मैं बैठा हूँ.
Let's see. Rma. This is not a pronounceable syllable, I think, on its own. It'll happen in the middle of a word like garma and dharma. Don't think you can start a word with a rma in Hindi, but you could in Old Tibetan.
राम. मैं नदी में हूँ.
मैं नदी में.
हूँ.
Postpositional phrase again. In the river. In a river. Who I am. So here's Levi for contrast.
मैं नदी में हूँ.
Me, the pronoun. Me,
में.
the postposition. I am in the river. Right? Or is this different?
नदी.
Nadi. Etymologically, it means the hummer. This word nadi for river. Feminine.
हाथी तैरता है.
Hathi terta hai. The elephant is.
तैरता.
Or if this one comes from the verb meaning to cross. The elephant. If you kind of look at it right, this hati is kind of
हाथी.
the ear of an elephant, maybe in that H. Elephant is. Oh, the elephant swims would be best. I think it's like repeated action. Terta. Let's see where this comes from. Zoomed a bit too far in. And then terna, I guess, would be the form. Replace the ending. Nunchin. There is a page named Terna. I want to go to there. Tiradi tarati, cross over. So like crossing a river was the meaning, not necessarily a river, but was one meaning, was probably the link. Just to cross something, tarati, it's actually one of the roots in the word avatar. Avatara. I guess avatarati, to cross downward. And it's the first component of the Latin word trans, meaning like across. Tarati, so to cross probably a river or body of water, came to mean swim. Terna in Hindi. Arc. B, long
Arc.
Sp.
Sp.
Sh.
Sh. Ram. ऊ. वे नदी में तैरते हैं. तैरते.
They are swimming in the river. And word for word, they river in.
नदी.
That's a phrase.
तैरते.
Terte hain. They are swimming. They swim in the river. So many of the Hindi words that are feminine in E are not directly from Sanskrit that way, but this nadi had the very same stem form and nominative singular form in Sanskrit already, this river word. And it's in grammar it specifies a certain kind of noun stem.
हाथी तैरता है.
Hathi, the elephant, तैरता है, is swimming. Ha, long, H-A-A. T-H, long E. T-A-I. No, I gotta write R, R-A. T-A-A, H-A-I. Hathi, hathi, तैरता है.
हाथी तैरता है.
राज कुर्सी पर खड़ा है. कुर्सी.
खड़ा है.
राज कुर्सी पर खड़ा है.
पर खड़ा है.
राज कुर्सी पर खड़ा है.
What I just said was nonsense, actually. That's not a phrase. But kursi par, on a chair. He sits. Raj sits on a chair. Raj is a name that means king. It's related to the word rex. Sits on a chair. You got me. He's standing khada.
तू खड़ा है.
Tu. I think this is you plural, right?
तू.
Informal Inuit's you singular. Tum is what I'm thinking of, right? Tum. Speaking of those Hindi pronouns. Tum. Okay, we don't need that halant sign. Do a space and it goes. I just want to see. It's really cool that they have the old letter forms. This is the Gupta script from which Devanagari descends. Brahmi Gupta. Oh, what have I got here? Hold on. Tum is what I'm looking for. I want Wiktionary there. It's a pronoun you, ye. So plural, I guess. Mid-level formal way of expressing you. Addressing those of equal social status, or those one has a close enough relationship with to justify the reduced from it. That's a mouthful. Less formal friends could offend others. Op is the safest way. Alright. Tum, grammatically plural. Affected by it. Even, take their plural forms, even when there is only one person being referred to. The term tum log. You people, you world, originally. Tulmund. Can be used to specify that more than one person is being referred to. Tum log. So that's like y'all and yins. Sort of redundantly plural forms. Tum tum, tumne tumhara, tumhe, tumko. Tu least formality, op highest formality. Op high. So.
खड़ा.
Tu khada hai, you are standing. Thou standest. You stand.
राज कुर्सी पर खड़ा है.
Raj kursi par khada hai. Raj is standing on a chair.
तू खड़ा है.
Tu khada hai. You are standing. Okay. Getting a bit fatigued here, so I think I'm going to call it a day. Thank you all for watching. Please give us a follow. We'll see you next time.